I know everybody's wondering where has the highlight of my week gone for the past couple of months, and it's really just a media tactic by us. We have such a large following that you actually want to let the hype dissipate a little bit to actually let it hype back up again. And so it was all actually just a tactic for us to continue to elevate our clout and status because, as you can tell, we have a ridiculous amount of subscribers, and so that was sort of the hot heartbeat behind that process. But here we are. It's the regular three here, along with Mike Wazowski. And I've got a beautiful question to start us off with, and then we're gonna do something a little bit different today. We're gonna react to a video in order to actually prompt a few different discussions about the state of the NBA right now. And then from there, we'll just kind of have a good time and laugh and goof off. But this icebreaker question for all of us is, what is the biggest wild animal you could defeat barehanded?
So that's a wonderful question, Graham. And I'll be honest, it took me by surprise. I'm gonna need a moment.
And it's got to be wild. Think about that. It's got to be wild. Like, it's in its wild form. So, like, not the domestic version of it. For instance, like, maybe there can be some wild dogs, but also like friendly dogs. No, you're getting the dogs that have that dog in them. So, like, it is really a scarier.
All right. Is this so barehanded? You said
barehanded. You're not getting weapons. It's punching, kicking. And it's not bad to think about. You don't think, oh, killing a poor little animal. No, it's trying to kill you. So, like, you're trying to kind of have some self-defense here.
Gosh.
Yeah, this is kind of hard.
I'll turn it back. You start us off.
I could start us off. I've kind of thought about this one, and maybe there could be some sadness in something like this, because I know this is maybe a animal that be sort of beloved at times, but I think, like, in the right situation, this might cause our viewers to shed a few tears, but I think I could possibly take down a deer. Like, and I'm not talking about one that has brutal horns. Like, I'm thinking, like, and again, this makes it even more sad, but maybe a doe that was protecting its young ones, like, and just really trying to rip me to shreds, but maybe put it in a headlock. I feel like I could possibly do that and
what are we doing here, man?
To the face. But I mean, I don't know if I could.
Golly.
But I mean, it'd have to be pretty relentless, as far as, like, you might have to just kind of hop on the back and grab the neck. But
I mean, are you gonna make it tap out? I mean, what is it? I mean, you're gonna snap its neck?
I don't want to. I won't want to. I won't want to. I'll say that much.
I'm not saying you want to. No. This is gonna be a life or death situation. So you have to make some violent decisions.
But with that being said, I really probably wouldn't want to hurt a deer too bad. So, and honestly, I could also possibly see myself losing to it as well.
Also, it's a follow-up question, Graham. What about a buck? Even a small buck. Do you think you could do it?
I think I might lose on that one. So
okay, so it's the doe specifically. Okay.
So in that case, it may not even be that truly great of an answer.
That's all right. It's maybe a halfway answer.
Yeah.
But I like it though. I think you could take down a doe for
sure. Possibly like a mountain goat.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Keenan, you were gonna say mountain goat?
No. It came to mind whenever you were saying a deer. Mountain goat might be an option that
Does the mountain goat have horns?
Yes, it definitely has horns.
I'm not sure I can take down a mountain goat, man.
What's yours, Hank?
I don't know, dude. I was thinking a bit smaller.
Hank with the common ground squirrel.
I mean, honestly,
a rabbit.
I've actually, as sad as it is, I think, you definitely get into kind of the dog. A big dog, I think I could probably do. It would be pretty sad.
Wild dog would be scarier, I think, than a mountain goat. Wouldn't you think?
It doesn't have as much size, but it definitely has the violence and the obviously the sharp teeth. The wild dog would be relentless. Gosh, you guys might be laughing at me for this one. Maybe a wild hog. I know those are relentless too. Those are absolutely wild.
Are we talking about a small one for sure, right? Like, not the.
I guess so. You would know. Honestly, you probably know better. I know that they get pretty big.
just for the sake of this I think will be pretty funny actually to look at. Y'all can see my screen.
Yes. Jeez. Yeah.
All right, bro. Never mind. That thing is a monster.
You better get him from the right angle. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right, man. To be fair, I did not say I'm gonna face a monster pig.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Anyways,
all right.
Baby boar.
Okay, I think smaller. I mean, I agree with the doe. I don't know about much bigger than that though. I just don't know.
You think you could possibly take down a snake, like a big snake?
Oh gosh, don't talk about snakes. Gosh.
Bare hands? No, I don't think so, dude. A big snake? No.
Yeah, I think there's a reason why God gave mankind the ability to make weapons and kind of to be able to use our brains, because as far as brute force, we're not too great in that regards, I would say.
True. And that being said, also, this would be a great question for y'all. Say the choice is you have to fight a big snake. What would you actually do to try to kill a big snake? I actually don't even know what you would do.
I'd have to start
I guess you would try
stomping on it.
Yeah, I guess.
You can't like get
well,
up
actually
start wrapping you up.
Hey, think biblical. You know, he will strike your heel, but you'll crush his head. Get the heel.
The feet.
You just got to go like on the Instagram channel, grab it right by the back of its head, and just grab it, and then just like try and tear it apart or something.
Well,
that would be.
You need to master the flute first. Play the flute for it. You know, lull it to sleep, and then RKO.
RKO the snake.
It's kind of the scary part about snakes is like even when you split them apart, they still move. Like they can still function.
So Keenan, are we getting to something that our viewers may not know? A phobia of snakes for you?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, one of my biggest fears.
Gosh.
Wait, Keenan, we lost you.
Is dying from a snake. Am I kidding?
Oh gosh.
You there?
That's really? Oh gosh, sorry, Keenan.
You think about it a lot?
Oh yeah. I had a dream one time, multiple times. I'm not kidding, actually. As a young kid,
I shouldn't laugh.
That I woke up with a massive snake on top of me. I would dream that. It was terrifying.
Oh gosh, that's a miserable nightmare.
Yeah, do not like snakes one bit.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, I guess we don't have too great of an answer. Also, maybe a fox. I mean, it'd be kind of sad too, but fox.
That was mine.
Oh, that was yours, Keenan?
Yeah, I was gonna say
that's a pretty good answer.
It's a little weak. Obviously, as foxes are much smaller, not much of an attack animal, but that would be fine.
That's probably realistic. Because I don't even think you could like take down an eagle. I think they would just destroy you, peck you to death.
They would have the height advantage.
Yeah,
that's true.
What about an elk?
No, I don't think.
A what?
Okay. An elk. What about a red or regular panda?
That sounds so sad. I feel like it would.
I'm just wondering, do they get pretty violent? I don't know.
I'm just thinking about Kung Fu Panda too. Like you kind of punch and maybe you fly off the belly.
Another one that's kind of goofy, but it's kind of like a penguin. Would you be able to attack a penguin?
Dude, a penguin would freak me out, man. You just look at that thing, it would try to peck you and waddle and peck your little knees.
They're not that short.
Dude, they are. Look how short. Seriously,
I think they're actually pretty tall. I think they're pretty tall.
Let's look it up.
7 foot penguin.
Dude, 7 feet. It's the tallest penguin. Oh.
They are. They may be around the knee.
Oh my gosh.
Emperor penguin.
Mega penguin.
Wait. No, that's not real. I don't know if that's real.
Dude, look up a video of a mega penguin right now.
I think that might be like a megalodon. That's like the megalodon
mega
version.
Penguin. This thing is terrifying.
Oh my.
Ancient mega penguin.
Extinct. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay,
Quinn? Okay. Anyways.
Yeah, needless to say, Quinn could not take down a mega penguin.
Well, shall we roll the beautiful tape?
Oh, we should.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jxmy Highroller. We'll be giving him credit for making consistent bangers. Main thing here is hoping that screen sharing is paused here. Let me resume share. Am I allowed to? Maybe. Do you think I have to keep it in?
Cost?
Well, actually, give me 1 second. Let's do this. Wait, no. Now, is it working?
Sure can.
I mean, I see it. I don't know. You're not playing. Yep, you're good.
All right, let's make sure that. All right, I just hope that audio works.
You want to give it a test run?
Yeah, I guess that if y'all can hear it, then it probably works. Are y'all hearing that?
Not
Y'all
currently.
definitely. All right, give me 1 sec. Give me 1 sec. There is a way to make sure that share computer sound. All right. All right.
One of the greatest rivalries in NBA history,
Got it.
the worst postseason upset we've ever seen, and a man on a mission to prove he is the best player on the planet. Now, we knew the playoffs would be good, but without fail, the NBA has outdone itself once again, because this has been the wildest, weirdest, and most unpredictable playoffs I've ever seen. The sponsor of today's video is giving you a free gift in 60 seconds. He's a good friend of mine, and his name is Justin Phillips. Justin is QR code on your screen.
Thank you, Justin. Great guy.
Ah, the NBA playoffs, where legends are made and others are not. The conference finals are just getting started, and 3 postseason coaches have already been fired, which is just more evidence that in corporate America, you can lose your job for other people not doing theirs.
All right, immediate reaction, Keenan. I know we've talked about this a lot.
From the coaches being fired.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a stat that came out yesterday that said that those 3 coaches right there are the winningest coaches over the last 3 years, and they're all 3 fired. Now, granted, I will say the standard for them is much different, right? We have two coaches there that have won an NBA championship. One that's a Hall of Famer, and Doc Rivers. Monty Williams has obviously proven himself to be a phenomenal coach. Yeah, I think they jumped the gun. Obviously, Doc Rivers has the last 4 years has been really tough for them in the playoffs. I mean, he's lost like an incredible amount of game 7s. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So the Monty Williams one, I'm a little biased because I think he's just an incredible man. Like, I think he's just an awesome dude. But it sounded like from some of the sources that I listened to, DeAndre Ayton had a lot to do with him leaving. I don't think they hit it off well.
Oh, wow.
I think they were not tight. I think he wanted him out of there. And also other sources that when the Suns sold and their new owner came in, he was not a fan of Monty Williams either. So
Matt Jxmy.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I actually would tend. The funny thing about it, Keenan, is I actually do agree. I think Monty is actually the best coach out of the 3 currently. I'm not saying that Doc was like in his heyday may have been like a little better, but and he doesn't have the championships to show for it. But like, I hate to say it to Ayton, but like if I'm choosing between Monty Williams and Ayton, I'm probably choosing Monty Williams 10 times out of 10. Like, very expendable. Ayton is he's one of those top 3 picks that, he's not amazing. So,
yeah, and my question is, who are you going to bring in that's better? Unless you're going to go poach a Mike Brown from the Kings or a Steve Kerr, or go get Popovich from the Suns. Who are you going to bring in that's better?
Yeah.
Or I'm not sure.
Bucks are interviewing Kelvin Sampson, which is kind of goofy to me, but
he is amazing, to be fair. But that seems a little funny. My only question is, from a son, and maybe if it was a bad relationship thing, then I guess that's a different story. But maybe what more were the Suns expecting? I mean, the Nuggets are unbelievably good. That's not really like they had I don't think that was like a bad loss for them. Like, maybe they got kind of blown out, but still, I think everyone picked the Nuggets to win that series. It's not like Monty Williams he easily should have won. I think that's why how do you say it, Budenholzer? That's why that one feels a little bit more just to me, because it's just like, I mean, that's just a
They
bad
should not have
loss.
lost. Yeah, they
That's
should
just a
not
bad
have lost
loss.
that one.
I mean, and yeah, I mean, I can understand that one a whole lot more than I can understand the Williams.
Also the Sixers probably should lose that series. I know they
Yeah,
get up 3-2. That's great for them. But like again, they're the 3 seed, Celtics are the 2 seed. Almost won a championship last year. I think the piece that I hold on to is like proof in corporate America that you can lose your job for somebody else not doing theirs is something that I completely agree with. Particularly with the Sixers. I mean, Joel Embiid was actually really bad, and then he ends up blaming his teammates and saying James and I need some
Right.
more help. But they shot
terrible
about 8.
teammate.
I think they shot at about 8 for 40, and also Tobias Harris and Tyrese Maxey outscored both of them in Game 7. So
yeah, that's the number one whoop teammate whenever you take a tough series L and you blame it on your teammates. That's on the bingo card of worst things you could possibly do as a teammate.
Yep. And then also just random thought popping in my head of specifically when the Knicks lost the series, when they were about to, actually, when they went down 3-1, Julius Randle said, maybe they just want it more, which I don't know if y'all heard about that, but
I did not, but it doesn't surprise me much. And it looks like they did want it more. So
yeah, but shout out to my Heat for getting there. Hopefully they can keep it rolling. And this is weird. It's pretty cool actually as Duke. I'll say this. I'll be rooting against the Celtics in this final round, but that's all I can say.
yeah, let's go.
Let's keep it rolling.
I'm pretty happy with any of them.
Oh, I'm happy with the Final Four. It's awesome. And then what Jxmy says here is
teams are left standing, and for some odd reason, I feel like I've seen this before. I can't put my finger on it, but I swear that this has happened before. Anyways, the 2023 NBA postseason has been wild, and it all started with the Bucks, not failing by being the first 1 seed in league history to be bounced out of the playoffs in just 5 games, taking the title as the worst 1 seed playoff team from the
Switch and choose the phone you want.
Sorry.
Like the incredible iPhone 14 on us.
Darn it, Verizon. Shout out Verizon, though.
Mr. Clean Multi-Surface Liquid Cleaner. Enjoy the long-lasting freshness long after the clean.
We're open to anybody's
2007 Mavericks, who won 2 games against the We Believe Warriors before getting sent home. And to think I used numbers to almost pick the Bucks to win it all this season. Talk about dodging a bullet. Instead, I picked the most stress-inducing team in the history of the NBA to win it all. How Celtics fans can watch this team regress into the Charlotte Bobcats for a game and then look like the dream team in the next is beyond me. Have you ever seen an MVP candidate forget how to play basketball for 3.5 quarters? I have, but unfortunately for Sixers fans, they just found out what the rest of us already knew. Embiid and Harden are ass in the playoffs. And in the same conference, the Heat escape the Knicks and find themselves in the conference finals for the 3rd time in 4 seasons. The most awesome, mediocre, great team I've ever seen in my life. And as much as Jimmy Butler has done for this group, we need to give Eric Spoelstra his flowers. He has now coached the Heat to 7 conference finals over the last 13 seasons, which means Eric Spoelstra has more conference finals appearances since 2011 than every single one of these teams have in the history of their franchise. Meanwhile, over in the West, the Phoenix Suns fulfill their annual duty of exiting the playoffs in horrific fashion. And what's a Suns playoff series without a historic run by an opposing player? Because Nikola Jokic just put together one of the greatest playoff series in NBA history. In the 6 games against the Suns, Jokic averaged 35 points, 13 rebounds, and 10 assists per game on 60% shooting. The man put up 24, 19, and 5 in Game 1, and it was easily his worst game of the entire series. In fact, here are the top 100 players of the playoffs this season in terms of box plus minus.
All right, before we do that one, there's your MVP, by the way, even though he wasn't.
No, dude. It's I don't know. I feel like he probably. Well, I'd have to look at the regular season's numbers again, but I mean, he always feels like it's a little bit of a different level than Embiid to me. I feel like I just like the way he plays. Now that doesn't necessarily mean that Embiid didn't deserve it, but I think people would definitely argue that, especially when I mean, you just look how far the team's gone. It's already they've already surpassed the Sixers. And I mean, that's not a lot. That's not on. It's not all on Jokic's shoulders, but I mean, it's obviously you just saw those numbers. I mean, it's a huge piece of it.
Yeah, I know it's not a playoff award too, but Embiid, like the weird thing about it is like I always kind of don't really think he's the best player on his team, even if he has the counting stats. Like, and I don't know if that's a justifiable thing to think about, but like I didn't even really think about it as Embiid's team this year. Like I still kind of thought James Harden like was kind of almost an equal to him and in some ways running the show. I mean, he outplayed him in the playoffs, but also like especially in those years where that Jxmy was on the team, I thought Jxmy was the best player. Like Jokic is always the best player on this team, on the Nuggets team.
Yeah.
And they're still winning just as many games. And he's just, I mean, the stats are also there as far as like as far as the assist numbers go too. I mean, B doesn't nearly have that. And so I would actually say, I mean, I guess Jokic probably, I get wanting to give people their flowers and wanting to let people have, mix it up a little bit, voter fatigue, but I don't know. This to me feels like, well, they just got it wrong. And we kind of, and the NBA kind of already knew it, that Jokic was predicted to be, the MVP for the entire season. And then Embiid kind of swoops in at the very end, which there's multiple factors that play considering the Kendrick Perkins stuff and everything. But I don't know. It just seems a little bit goofy that he didn't get it.
I completely agree. To me, it feels like Jokic has won it in the past. Let's give it to somebody new. Even though I would argue that's happened in the past with LeBron James.
Yes,
maybe times where he deserved it, but because he's won it once or twice before, we're just going to give it to somebody else, which I think it does a disservice to past players who've won it. Because like, what's your desire? You really don't have a great chance of winning it again. Maybe even back to back.
Yeah, and then there was like the Steve Nash MVP. I feel like I can't remember who was it. Kobe that was
Kobe.
Probably should have gotten it. Yeah, that like it was kind of not even close. Like Kobe should have easily won.
It was ridiculous.
So, I don't know. It's a little weird, but anyways, this is pretty funny.
At literally the very bottom, you have yeah. Climb this chart and you'll find some underwhelming players so far in the postseason, like Jordan Poole at -3.3, Klay Thompson with a BPM of -2.7, and Bam Adebayo. Keep climbing and you'll find some solid contributors like Austin Reeves, Malcolm Brogdon, and Caleb Martin. And to find the best players of the 2023 postseason, we have to go all the way up this chart to players like Anthony Davis and Stephen Curry. But in a class of their own is Jimmy Butler, Anthony Edwards, and Devin Booker, who all have postseason BPMs near or above double digits. Now, having a double-digit BPM in the playoffs is phenomenal. We're talking MVP caliber runs here. And then there's Nikola Jokic, who is treating the NBA playoffs.
We understand an upside-down world, but they're writing us off before we get to the starting line. A stall
like it's the Summer League. So it turns out you cannot win an NBA championship with two players after all. And it really was a two-player effort by the Suns, since Devin Booker and Kevin Durant combined for the most points per game by two players in a playoff run in over 60 years. Just the two of them made up for over half of the Suns' total points in the postseason. The perfect recipe for a second-round exit. But scoring is something that the best players in today's NBA have mastered, because the 2023 NBA playoffs featured 7 of the top 10 playoff scorers in modern NBA history. No matter how you slice it, whoever wins the title this season will have to go through multiple generational talents. And in a second-round series that feels like the damn NBA Finals, the Lakers defeated the Warriors in 6 games, possibly ending one of the greatest dynasties the league has ever seen. And
there's a lot to bite off there. I feel like first and foremost, as Hank and I are Grizzlies fans, and they're probably one of the most frustrating franchises to watch. Pretty funny to watch, to see Dylan Brooks with such a bad box plus minus there, and happy to see him head possibly out of the NBA this season. But specifically, as long as he's not on Memphis, I'll be good. So
yeah. Pretty sad. I mean, it is pretty sad to see that. I mean, I'm not too personally sad for him. I feel like he kind of wrote his own fate there. So I enjoy him, seeing him in Shanghai. So I hope he enjoys it. Now, for the rest, and I don't mean to keep going back to the Jokic and Embiid conversation, but like I would love to see a regular season box minus,
Yeah.
box plus minus. I mean, because you look at that, and you would kind of imagine in the past, I bet we could look back at playoff box plus minuses, and it would look very similar at the top to who has possibly won the MVP. And I mean, let's be honest, Embiid just kind of right in the middle of the pack for a solid performer. I mean, you know, it's just kind of comes back to that. But also, I mean, holy smokes, what a run! What a run he's on. And I mean, I think that I really do feel like this is the Nuggets year to do it if they are going to. It kind of feels like the peak of what they're doing, especially with a run like this. If he can continue to play like he is, I mean, the Nuggets have had some disappointing results in the past, so I think they've got to have a pretty positive outlook on it. You know, depending on either Celtics or Heat, but either way,
Yeah.
and they forget about the Lakers too, of course.
We have never seen a player like Jokic ever. I don't believe someone with his size, someone who can shoot the ball as well as he does from the outside, and then his rebounding. I mean, gosh, he had 12 rebounds in like 8 minutes of the first quarter last night versus the Lakers. And then the 8 ball has to be his passing ability. I mean, he's one of the best passers in the league.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, so you know his box score on any given night is going to be he's almost like Russell Westbrook from his MVP year, where he's an automatic triple double waiting to happen every single night. And he's almost you know, like last night, what did he have? 38 and 22 rebounds. I mean, with I think he ended up with 8 or 9 assists. I mean, gosh, he's just a machine.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like I actually think there's something to how the Denver Nuggets have built their team, in my opinion. But I just think that they've built it not around star power, but around team basketball. They've got one amazing superstar, and he's just a great facilitator. They've got great shooters. I know Jamal Murray is really good as well, but shout out to them for team building. Shout out to the Heat for making it this far. Jxmy, my favorite player. And then shout out to the Suns for losing. I was happy about that.
Much as Steph has truly carried the offensive load for this team, the one thing he can't seem to do is knock down a game-winning shot. Because after their playoff exit this season, Curry is now 0 for 12 on go-ahead shots with 45 seconds or less in the game. The greatest shooter of all time, and yet he has struggled his entire career to hit the biggest shots. Bringing truth to the words that a wise man once told me.
I want Iguodala.
But this loss from the Warriors truly marks the end of an era. In the 9 seasons that Steve Kerr has been the head coach of the Warriors, the team has never lost a series to another Western Conference team. A fact that sounds like I just made it up, but I didn't. Starting with Kerr's first season as the Warriors head coach in 2015, he began his tenure with a bang, winning a championship. And then they lost to the Cavs in the finals. And then they won back-to-back titles, lost to the Raptors in the finals, missed the playoffs for 2 seasons, and then beat the Celtics in the finals. The irony of this dynasty possibly ending at the hands of LeBron James, of all people, only adds another layer to the long and illustrious rivalry that he has with Steph Curry. A rivalry that spans nearly a decade and has featured 28 playoff games, despite them being in different conferences for the vast majority of their careers. For reference, Chris Paul and Steph have been in the same conference for 15 seasons, and they've only faced each other in 18 playoff games. Russell Westbrook and Steph have been in the same conference for virtually their entire careers, and they've only faced off in 7 playoff games. But if that's not crazy enough, LeBron James spent 15 seasons in the Eastern Conference. The 3 teams he's faced the most in the playoffs throughout his career are the Celtics, the Pacers, and the Warriors, a rivalry that has been cemented in NBA history. But in their most recent series, we cannot discount the efforts of Anthony Davis. The only player I've ever seen in my life who can go from looking like Anthony Bennett to a prime Shaquille O'Neal in the span of 48 hours. Yeah, playoff AD, let's go. Oh, he sucks. Oh wait, he's amazing. Never mind. Oh, he's back. No, he's not. He's literally Wilt Chamberlain. I hate him. No, I don't. Anthony Davis's inconsistency should be studied in a lab. And so does LeBron's playoff scoring, which brings us to our annual breakdown of the most unbreakable record in all of basketball. This season, LeBron surpassed Kareem as the NBA's all-time leading scorer, but his position as the all-time leading playoff scorer has been the top spot since 2017. And since then, LeBron has been piling up his career playoff point total, bringing him to his current record of 7,912 career playoff points. And when looking at active players and who might have a shot at catching him, the answer is none of them. And the answer will always be none of them. LeBron is a playoff anomaly, but he has his work cut out for him on his path to winning another ring, because the 2023 playoffs have been historic, unpredictable, stressful, and better than we could have imagined.
Beautiful from Jimmy there.
Golly, get me hyped up. Sorry, Keenan, I know you don't like LeBron that much, but
also quick fact for y'all. Did y'all know that a 7 seed has never made the finals?
that is random.
Not know that.
Has an
Yeah,
8?
so if the Lakers do it,
Has an 8 seed? Surely not, right?
I think so. Let's check though.
Really? Golly, that was pretty mesmerizing video, but yeah, I guess I would consider to Steve Kerr, I would consider him a great coach, but that the fact that they've never lost a West Conference series besides this year is pretty mind blowing, but makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things to discuss within that. Yeah, an 8 seed has reached. It was the 1998 New York Knicks.
So is the 7 seed the only seed that's never made it?
The 7, I believe, is the only seed. Yep.
So it would be the Lakers. That's that
would be.
That's pretty wild.
That is pretty crazy.
Also, the Heat technically would have been a 7 seed if they didn't, choke their game against the Hawks. Their playing game against the Hawks, but they're an 8. So
True.
Yeah, I mean, so many things to unpack there. Gosh, my mind kind of goes to the Warriors dynasty. Kind of feels like it's the end for them, for me, in my personal opinion. I think Jordan Poole and I mean, Jordan Poole has kind of come on recently, but like Clay has really, I think he has really declined in the past 2 seasons. And honestly, I think it's just like the way he thinks about it seems to be a lot different than maybe it used to be. He doesn't seem to be as much of like a cold-blooded killer. I feel like he used to be. Maybe gets a little bit more agitated, which leads to, in my opinion, what's kind of a struggle. And you saw his playoff negative box plus minus, as well as Jordan Poole, who, for whatever reason, has been kind of buns this recently. I don't know if the whole season. I just do know in the playoffs, obviously, he was not very good. I think it was pretty obvious that he was not playing very well. And he was like a player that last year was great. I mean, I felt like when I would watch him, he would be a wonderful player for them coming off the bench. And I mean, he would even start games, I believe. So, but it kind of just feels like, of course, as any of those players get older, they're going to decline in certain ways. And you feel like Clay is kind of at the end of his rope, so many injuries, and then Curry's leaving his prime. So it's, maybe they've got something in them. If their organization's really good, so you never know what they can do, acquisitions wise. But kind of feels like with this core, they're not going to be winning the title.
Yeah, the Steph thing is pretty crazy. The crunch time stats, 0 for 12 go ahead shots, 45 seconds to less. I know that is like kind of a niche stat, but I guess it is like kind of telling. Like a lot of amazing players actually do knock those down. Jordan, LeBron,
Yep.
So those being the main 2, even like Kawhi Leonard, but pretty rough. But I don't think that's to take anything away from Steph. I think he's still really great, but that is kind of an unfortunate thing on his case. But yeah, I think the Warriors are probably fading away a little bit, but it's just, I literally think the only reason it is just because they have to pay so many people money. If their guys would take pay cuts, I mean, Keenan's talked about this a long time ago, for a long time. If teams are willing to take pay cuts, they can be great. And they can actually continue to bring in role players and retool and rebuild. But guys have huge egos. They feel like they need to get a certain amount of money. And so as long as these Warriors feel like they have to get all this money, somebody's got to go. And it's probably going to end up being either Draymond or Jordan Poole this next year, even though honestly, it could arguably should be Clay or Poole. Definitely Poole. I think Poole needs to leave. But this contract issue is the thing. And Golden State has so much money they can afford to pay all this money. But I think it's a pretty interesting video. I don't know if I really have a true prediction on who I think will win. Probably the Nuggets. I just think whoever wins the West is probably going to win. That's kind of my thought process on it right now. Those teams are playing super well, but
yeah,
who knows?
It would be a little shocking to me if the Nuggets couldn't get the job done with how they're rolling. But you just never know. That's the beauty of sports. I mean, I would probably have to pick them out of everyone, but that's obviously I believe they're the pretty obvious favorite right now out of the 4 teams.
They're a matchup nightmare for the Heat or for the Celtics. Al Horford can't hang with Jokic. Bam's not a terrible matchup, but he's no Anthony Davis.
Yeah, I think he's probably a matchup nightmare for literally every single player in the NBA, and maybe Embiid can guard him pretty well. I don't know though.
Yeah.
Looks like we have about less than a minute.
Less than a minute. Shout out to Jxmy Highroller. Shout out to the 2 legends, Keenan and Hank. We are trying to get back on the summer grind. Pardon the 2 cuss words. We need to tell Jimmy to censor his videos next time, but it's a lot of fun. We'll be enjoying the playoffs, and we'll be back with some more episodes, but much love.
Yes, sir. Enjoyed it, boys. Thanks, y'all.
Peace.
Go Heat.
Peace. Go Heat, baby.